Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So for today's head-to-head comparison, we're going to take a look at two jumbo 3-row SUVs. We have the 2024 Toyota Sequoia and the 2024 Lexus GX550. I've borrowed the Toyota from Flow Toyota Statesville, so take a look at their website. That link is down in the description below. But for both of these trim levels, they also have a very similar MSRP. We have a limited for the Sequoia right around $74,000 and the Premium Plus right around $71,000. And let's start off with the power plant because they do share the same engine. For the Lexus, this has the 3.4 liter twin turbo V6. It's paired to a 10-speed automatic. It pumps out 349 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque. For the Sequoia, same 3.4 liter twin turbo V6, however this has the iForce Max. So that is paired with the hybrid system. It's also paired to the same 10-speed and it pumps out 437 horsepower, 583 pound-feet of torque. So if you're looking for that much more power, you go with the Sequoia. We do have a good bit of power, however, for that GX, but it would be cool to see maybe a hybrid option for the GX as well. Now, as far as their overall costs go, for the GX, these start right around $64,000 and can go up to around $81,000 for the Trail Plus. For the Sequoia, they start around $61,000 and go up to around $74,000. So we have the that MSRP right with this limited trim level here. Now, as far as drivetrain goes, we have full-time four-wheel drive for the Lexus, rear-wheel drive for the Sequoia. However, it does offer the four-wheel drive system. We have curb weights of 5,500 pounds, 5,700 pounds for the Sequoia. It is a little bit larger, so it's a little bit heavier. 0 to 60 is going to be 6.5 seconds for the Lexus, closer to 5.5 seconds for the Sequoia since we have that much more power. Top speeds are relatively similar. And then as far as fuel economy goes, you're looking at 15 and 21, and then 21 and 24 for the Sequoia. And then their overall dimensions are very similar as well. And then ground clearance is also similar too. So let's work our way to the exterior styling now, where we have some pretty big differences here. For the Toyota, look at how large this grille is. There's the Toyota logo, forward-facing camera, and a sensor there. There's also parking sensors as well. Fog lights in the lower section, and then there's a lot of cutouts for how big this front end is. Gives it a great look, but it's also aerodynamic as well. And then there's LEDs for all of the lighting up top there. For the Lexus, this has that hourglass design. The sensor, however, is in the Lexus logo itself. Forward camera, all the sensors, a lot of cutouts, fog lights in that lower section as well. And then LEDs for the lighting. I will say it's a little bit more luxury focused for the Lexus versus how big the Sequoia is. The Sequoia looks like the Tundra from the front. So it has a little bit more of that trucky vibe to it versus a little bit more of a subtle look for the Lexus. Now, for both of these trim levels, we have some very nice wheels. Those will differ, of course, depending on the model that you go with. For the Sequoia, there's some gray for the fender arches. They're body colored for the GX. Both of these have integrated side steps to help enter and exit. We do have power folding side mirrors as well, with a camera and a turn signal for both of these. On the top of the Sequoia, we have a little bit larger of a sunroof along with the roof racks there. On the Trail Plus, you can get a full moonroof. The rest of them have the option for just that sunroof there. And then as far as their side looks go, a little bit more boxy on the Lexus. Flows a little bit nicer on the Sequoia, but I think they both look great for their design. And then as we work our way to the back, we have the backup camera, all the sensors, LED lights. The GX tows right around 8,000 pounds. And then to work our way into the cargo space, we do have the rear glass that opens up, so that way you can easily grab some items as needed. There's also the hands-free option as well, or you can use that button up underneath to open up the power liftgate. Now, the GX is a 3-row SUV. If you go the Trail or Trail Plus, they delete the third row. The rest of them have this third row here, where there's that 50-50 split, so you can get a look at the cargo space with them down, versus with the third row up, really not that much there. They are automatic. There's a 12 volt there. You have adjustments to recline these seats and then cup holders for that third row as well. And then as we work our way to the Sequoia, surprisingly, this SUV also has the glass that opens independently. Not too many vehicles offer that. I think it's a really nice touch to see. So you can quickly get in. I believe it has the hands-free over on that right side there. And then we have the backup camera, sensors, LEDs. The Sequoia can also tow around 9,600 pounds, but the Sequoia is a full 3-row. So all the trim levels have that 3rd row. There's also this adjustable shelf that you can place depending on how you have the 3rd row, because when you have them flat, you don't have a flat surface. So raise this up to that level, that'll give you a nice flat surface. These seats can be moved forwards and backwards, unlike in the GX, and there are adjustments to raise and lower these seats. So they're manual to slide forwards and backwards, and then automatic to raise and lower. There's also a 12-volt on this side. A little bit more space with the 3rd row back, but then you can also make adjustments to get a little bit more space. So as a 3-row SUV, the Sequoia is a lot more functional and getting you better cargo space if you have it packed full of people. So let's work our way into the 2nd and 3rd row now. We'll start over on the GX, where you can lock and unlock this with all 4 door handles. And then we have a nice interior for this model with the saddle brown. Now, one thing with this, you do have to make sure that the front seats are set right in order to pop this seat up. Now, the GX, you can also opt it with captain's chairs for that 2nd row as well. So you can have a 6 or a 7-seater. As far as the space goes in the back, everything is fixed, so you can't even slide these seats either. But I have a good bit of leg room there, and then my head is just up against the headliner. There's also some air vents up top here. So it's not, I wouldn't call it like a full-size 3-row SUV, but if you need to use those 2 seats in the back, you have the option to do that. And then as far as the 2nd row seating goes, at 5'10", I have plenty of space. These are also heated. We have all of those temperature adjustments. You have the armrest with cup holders as well, and I have plenty of headroom. So it's really a 2-row SUV with that 3rd row if needed. And as we work our way to the Sequoia now, it doesn't look like you can unlock it from the back door handles, which I think it should have. Now on this, we do have the adjustable sunshade, a little bit more storage in that door. It feels like a larger door panel than on the GX. Now we have the captain's chairs, which do flip up similar to the Lexus, and then we have that cutout through. So you don't have to flip the seat up, but it's definitely much easier to do that. And then in the Sequoia, you have 3 seats in the back. This is much larger, and then if you noticed earlier, I slid this seat all the way forward, so I can slide it back for more leg room here. But we even have adjustable sunshades in the back. You can recline these seats. We have cup holders. There's the vents up top. So it's about the same, but it's a little bit larger having the 3 seats in the back. So a little bit more functional of a 3rd row. And then with the captain's chairs, of course, that gives you a lot more space. We have all of the climate adjustments. It doesn't look like heated captain's chairs, which is interesting. You can get heated captain's chairs in the Lexus there. And then plenty of headroom. Feels like a really nice seat. So let's work our way to the front now. I do have full detailed reviews on that specific GX. We've reviewed several of the 24 Sequoias. So I'm going to go through all this fairly quickly. You can check out those full reviews if you would like to. But let's hop into the Sequoia here, where we have the leather steering wheel. There's cruise, adaptive cruise, mode, tuning, and then you have adjustments on this left side here that are going to be a little bit different than on the GX. So we can scroll through a lot of info on that left side, and then the rest of the gauge cluster is fixed. So you do have a little bit that you can go through, even all of the standard safety features. And then we have the heated steering wheel, power outlet in the back. You have your fuel, automatic headlights. There's even the safety brake that you can turn on and off. No head-up display for this. Storage up top though. And then you have this massive screen to go through all this information. It's going to be identical to the GX, as you'll see here. You have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, heated and ventilated seats, all of your climate adjustments as well. Even the view button, so you can go through these angles here with that 360 camera system. There's trailer braking. You have your e-brake there, wireless charging. We'll take a look at the normal backup camera, where you have a lot of different angles. So you can go through all of these just depending on what you need to see. And then you have sport mode here. You also have a few different driving modes. So you have sport, normal, and eco. 4-wheel drive selector. You have storage in the center armrest here, which is massive. And then you have the glove box storage. and then sunglass holder up top, and then a little bit larger of a moonroof there. I'd say it's a very nice material, or very nice interior, very nice materials. Pretty easy and simple to go through. And then as we work our way to the GX now, a little bit smaller of a door panel. You have some storage in the lower section there. And then as we start this up, you'll notice, I'll say it's a little bit more luxury focused. We have solid leather instead of some of the perforated leather, but same adjustments, a little bit different of a design here. And then for the gauge cluster itself, we have the full digital screen. So you can actually customize the left side, the right side, and the middle by going through these 3 different settings here to adjust this information. So it is a little bit more configurable for the Lexus. You have the safety brake, power liftgate, power in the bed, memory seating adjustments. There's even a head-up display here. And then a little bit nicer of a screen. It is larger here. And I currently have the Apple CarPlay on, but we have some of the same information going on this left side here to get through all of this here. Now, unlike the Toyota, everything is in the screen. So the heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, you can adjust the rear climates, get into some of this information as well. And then you have all the climates underneath that. We have the same view button for the camera system there that you saw in the Sequoia, trailer braking system as well. Same drive modes too. So you can go through those 3. We have tow and haul mode, traction control, auxiliaries there. And then here's the camera system. We have the center lock along with wireless charging. Not as much space in the middle. This is definitely much smaller. However, you do have a little bit of storage above the glove box there. No sunglass holder up top, which I feel is missing in this. It should definitely have one. And then we have a smaller sunroof there. As far as visibility goes, I didn't show that in the Sequoia, but it's pretty nice in this. We'll jump back into the Sequoia now, where that pillar there is a little bit bigger. We'll get this out on the road here in just a second, but you can even see out of that cargo window in the back. So it's a little bit longer. We have a little bit larger glass overall for the Sequoia. But with the exteriors and interiors wrapped up for both of these SUVs, let's get them out on the road and see how they compare. So we'll start off behind the wheel of the Toyota Sequoia, which I have had some seat time. We had a Sequoia for a week a while back. It was the platinum version. This is a really neat jumbo SUV. So if you really need that extra practicality, you go with a big vehicle like this. And with a mild acceleration, we're already up to speed. It has plenty of power for the weight of this truck to get it up and moving. Now, I will say, once we're out on the road, as far as visibility goes, I do like looking out of this rear view better than the GX. With the solid bench seat in the second row, you have a headrest in the way, versus here, you have nothing. So I can easily see out of that back glass, which is great. We have the mirrors that also turn down. So for in reverse there, you can get a little bit better visibility. And for the 3-point turn here, it's very maneuverable. So it's a big vehicle, but it is easy to drive. It's also pretty smooth. It's going to give you a great ride. We took one out on a road trip, so we have a lot of experience on the highway. It was like a 2-hour drive, I believe, and really no complaints with it as far as how solid it feels. Not much wind noise, road noise, anything like that. And we have some comfortable seats too. So this could be something that you can easily drive every single day. If you are hauling around a lot of people, we have that camera system too to aid you in slower speed situations. And then the driving modes do make a difference. So when you put it in from sport to eco, you have a little bit more throttle response if and when you need it for this vehicle. We have a nice armrest up top too to give you a comfortable feel. So while you're driving this, even long distances, it'll give you a very nice ride. So now let's hop into the GX. And behind the wheel now for the GX550, let's start off with the windshield. A lot more steeply raked, a lot taller than in the Sequoia. You can't quite see the base of the hood, but you can still place both sides with those bulges in the hood there. And just like the Sequoia, which we had for a week, I have this particular GX for a week, so I've had a lot of seat time with how this vehicle drives. It's super solid, very comfortable, smooth, has a good bit of power, even though the Sequoia has a lot more power. It's also very maneuverable. We have the side mirrors that will angle down when you put it in reverse, so just like in the Sequoia there. And it's, what I'll say, a little bit more off-road focused. It's a little bit more luxury feeling with some of these materials, but this is a vehicle that if you want to, you could lift, you could do some modifications to it, which a lot of people in the Lexus community do as far as overlanding, putting rooftop tents. I've seen so many GX models since I've had this particular one with rooftop tents or awnings, things like that, small lift, some bigger tires. This has a little bit more of that overlanding community and following versus the Sequoia. So if that's something that you want to do, there's a community for that with the GX here. And then a little bit smaller with the 2 rows or 2 seats in the 3rd row versus 3 in the Sequoia. But it's still practical. It's mainly a 2-row SUV that has plenty of storage in it. And I really don't have any complaints with this. No complaints with the Sequoia when we had one for the week. So it really just depends on the sizing that you need and what you're actually using the vehicle for. And as far as the driving modes go, very similar to the Sequoia as far as the 3 different modes that you can put it into, and they are functional with each one. So very similar in certain aspects, but very different in a lot of the rest of the aspects. And so now back from our test drive with the Toyota Sequoia and the Lexus GX550. Both of these are very nice vehicles. I feel like the Lexus is going to provide you with a little bit more of a luxury feel versus the Sequoia. It is much larger, has a little bit more weight to carry, especially around turns and things like that. But honestly, you can't go wrong with either one. I will say I have seen some hybrid issues with the Sequoia and the Tundra, but that should be something that Toyota is easily going to fix. I do like with the Lexus, you don't have that hybrid system. It's going to be a little bit easier to work on, especially if you do work yourself on your own vehicles. A hybrid system definitely gives you a lot more power, which would be neat to see on the GX. But you really can't go wrong. If you need just a little bit more space, you want a more practical 3-row, go with the Sequoia. If you're going to use the 3rd row every now and then or hardly ever, you can go with the GX and you have them when needed. So they're both great options, very similar in their price point. So it just depends on which one you need to go with. So comment down below, do you need the larger Sequoia or are you going with the Lexus GX? If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.